first started writing when I was about 5 years old, and I just wanted to create an imaginary world, and it was almost like playing with dolls or playing with toys. It was just something fun that I enjoyed doing. And then I was given a book that my auntie had written and published, and it had my name in it. And that's when I realized that, you know, these books just don't fall into your lap. People create them. And just like I was creating stories, other people around the world were doing the same thing and getting them published, and then everybody was getting to see that world that you had created. I guess you could say I started to take writing a little bit more seriously when I was around 11 years old. That was when I started really applying myself to finishing the work that I had started and making them longer and a little bit more informative. There was a lot of detail going on. That's when I started to develop a writing style per se. I find with writing, it's not the same as other areas of creativity where you can thrive off of inspiration and enthusiasm to get yourself the whole way through from start to finish. I find for finishing a book, you really have to find discipline in yourself to say, oh, I'm going to sit down today and I'm going to write the next chapter, or I'm going to sit down for 2 hours and see how far I can get. Because your initial, for me it's a moment. I find a moment and then I expand on that and it turns into something kind of crazy. And that initial moment is really exciting and it gets you the first half of the book, but it doesn't get you to the end of the book. So after that initial excitement, you have to find your discipline to keep working at it. So the best way that I can be disciplined in my writing after that, almost the honeymoon phase of that idea and the excitement of the beginning, is to actually strategize the book from start to end. And obviously that can change, but my technique would be to write a circle and then almost like the clock with the hours of the day in it, and each time has a different area of the book that we're going to focus on. And that in itself can be motivating because you've almost got your step written out there to aim for. It's helpful to have those steps because sometimes when you're writing, you think you've got this idea in your head and you can see the end in your mind because you're creating it, but you don't necessarily have that out on paper for your reader. And so it's good to keep you on track in that way, to make sure that you're building your book in a way that is going to be portraying your mind to your reader accurately. In terms of writing style, I feel every writer has a very unique to themselves way of expressing how they're trying to put this puzzle together, if you like. I know personally, when I was at the University of Oxford, I had a professor tell me that I had a very old classic style of writing, and I think that's because when I was younger I used to always read Enid Blyton, Roald Dahl and the classics, if you will, and they always spoke in a tone of that era that I wasn't necessarily from. So I connected the two, and my writing style is a bit of a mix. And with that, a writing style has a massive impact on how you're going to be viewed by your potential publisher and editor. The thing that I've had to learn is you can send your book off to 10 people and it's going to be the one person that connects with your style and actually sees the value in it. Writing is not, maths where you +2 +2 and you get 4. Everyone's going to interpret it differently. My style, apart from being a bit classic and a bit old, is I like to include a character that is biblical. So hidden in each book is one character who is actually out of the Bible. I do that because as a Christian, I just think there needs to be that influence in there in whatever it is you're working towards. And a great example of that is C.S. Lewis in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, where Aslan was actually Jesus in that story. In terms of whether writing is a passion or not, I feel more so there's significant purpose in it. I think it was inbuilt in me to cope with certain things, to understand better things, to escape certain things, and it's become a part of my personality type to write things down and turn them into something beautiful when maybe they're just pretty ordinary. So I'm definitely passionate about it, but in a very purposeful way. So I have one project at the moment that I'm working on, and I've been working on this for 5 years. It's a young adult fiction novel. The manuscript is finished, however, I personally think a good novel takes 10 years. So it's going to sit with me for another 5 years, and whilst I grow, it's going to grow with me, and we're probably going to delete some chapters and rewrite it. But that is the project that I'm currently working on. The project that I actually recently published is a Christmas book, and it was released on Christmas Day, and it's called Johnny the Naughty Elf, and it's a children's book all about a little elf that causes a lot of mischief just before Christmas Day. Because it was a children's book, we had to source a creative who could actually draw cartoons and fill it with pictures. And I found this lady called Carlin who actually went to the church with me, and she is a phenomenal artist. It was a very quick and easy process to work with Carlin because she just wanted to take on my vision and produce it as accurately as she could. And the final product, if you go and have a look, was, I think, spot on. And if you want to purchase that, if you have a little child in mind ahead of Christmas time, then you can go to Amazon and it's for sale. You can type in my name and you'll find it.